Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation.
Who's hosting?
You're.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We got a fantastic show for you today. We're going to talk about what's on Matt's mind. Then we're going to jump into a fun top three, which is top three musicians you just can't stand. You know that one where it comes on the radio and you just, like, you can't get to the forward button fast enough.
Like, get me off this station.
That's right. And then Chet is going to end it with a good word. So, Matt, what's on your mind?
Well, there's a few things that have been on my mind. The first one here is I've got a lot of stuff coming up. The beginning of the year is a busy time of the year for me, especially with Wounded War Outdoors. I got a lot of auction stuff, trade shows, all that kind of stuff that we typically do at the beginning of the year, and our little chat that we have going on. One of the top three choices that had been brought up was top three ways to. I can't remember how it was worded, but basically, if you don't remember someone's name, what do you do? The top three ways to, I guess, overcome that.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a really good top three, but I figured we could actually just talk about it because I've got it coming up. I only really have one way that I can really get around it myself. And so I know Chet's got a little bit more experience in that realm than I do. And Troy, you probably do too. I'll wait around until somebody else says the name, or
It's too late.
what do you mean? Well, no, because hey man. All right, dude. Yeah.
What's up?
Man, oh man, long time no see.
I can't
man.
give away all my secrets because then somebody may listen to this and I would have done it to them. And they're going to be like, that dude doesn't even know my name.
The people that you don't know their name, they're not listening.
I don't know, man. I don't know a lot of people's names. Like, there's some people's names I should know that I don't.
Well, I'll give you mine.
I'm horrible at names.
The worst is, though, when you get caught off guard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm walking through an office with a client or something, and, you know, they're, like, walking to their office to go have a meeting or video shoot or whatever. And it's like a multiple office building. And then somebody comes around the corner. It's like, oh, hey, Troy, what's up? And I'm like, hey, man, how are you? How are you, man? How have you been?
You can't pause. If you like, hey, man, then they know. So if you're like,
No,
hey, man.
I know. Like, I'm busted.
Yeah.
I mean, I get busted all the time with that. And so then what I do after that is, like, either just own it. Be like, man, I totally forgot your name. Like, I had COVID. My short-term memory loss is kicking in.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Those are the worst, though. The surprising ones.
Well, the surprising ones, but you get caught with somebody, you know, or you're out with your family or something like that, and you know your family doesn't know this person, but they're an acquaintance. Obviously, they're not somebody that you know.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to forget their name. It's not like you would come over and be like, "Oh yeah, that's Troy," you know, because you don't want to be the person that's rude and not introduce.
You do. This is the key, and my wife knows this. Your wife should know this.
So let me tell you what I do first in that situation, then you can correct me because it's probably wrong. So I typically will guide that person to introduce himself. So I'll say, hey, this is my wife, Audrey, and Audrey, this is, you know, and kind of get them to, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so. And
No, because that's obvious. Like, because the proper introduction, you should be, Audrey, this is so-and-so. This is my wife, Audrey. Audrey, this is Matt.
Yeah, that's the correct way to do it.
Yeah, but you can't do it the correct way and just leave off the back end, because then it's obvious that you don't know what their name is. So you have to go ahead and put yourself in a situation where you're going to be the idiot, and you tell your wife ahead of time there's probably going to be a dozen people in here that I don't know their name. I know them, but I don't know their name. So I need you to, when they're like, oh, hey,
initiate.
Chet. She's the one that goes, hey, I'm Ashley.
What's your name?
And then they're like, oh, I'm so-and-so. Yeah, it's my buddy Matt here. You know, Matt, the good old pal. And then you have to say their name like 10 times in a row just to help drill it in your head. Normally, the trauma of, I should know their name, but I don't. Those situations where you get through it, I'll not forget that person's name in the future. Because it's like, oh, that's seared in my memory that I didn't know Matt's name that time that Ashley had to bail me out with that. So, and then you apologize. She's like, oh, Matt, I'm sorry. I should have introduced my wife, Ashley. Matt, I'm so, Matt. You know, you just, then you move on. The other one.
What if you're alone?
You amp up your excitement. Which is going to be harder for you. It's probably easier to remember names than it is for you to be excited about it.
For Matt just needs to apologize because there's no amping up excitement there.
Well,
there's two. You got to understand. There's different goals that you could have. One goal could be that you learn their name. The other goal could be that you get out of this situation with that person not knowing and not realizing that you don't know their name. So if that's your goal, I don't know, not necessarily here to learn their name. Like, oh, I bumped into somebody that I know their name. I just can't remember it right now because they're at an office building that I normally wouldn't see them at. They caught me by surprise. Overemphasize the excitement that you see them.
And I do that well.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, wow, it's so great to see. I didn't expect to see you here. How's it going? You know?
Yeah.
Move straight into a question where there's, we don't have to talk about, back home, how's your mom and them? Like, woo, let's talk about something. And then that may give you some time to think about where do I know them from and what their name is. But I've been in situations, I'll tell you one of them, when we were back in Louisiana for something, the kids, we went by campus, the Louisiana Tech where I went to school, brought the kids by there, bumped into somebody. And a person was Heath Timms. But I remembered Timms, and I introduced him as Tim instead of, Heath. And Heath, if you're listening, sorry. But you caught it. I mean, I called it. It's like, kids, this is a guy I went to school with. His name's Tim, and I'm like, no, I didn't do that right. But, water under the bridge kind of thing. But then it's like, oh, he remembers something,
Yeah. Something's better than nothing, right?
See, the problem lies.
Hey, here's Truss. It's actually Trussell, and my first name's Troy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're that dude that made the funny mouth noises on the...
Well, and it happens to me too. I mean, because I've known some people for years, but I only see them once a year at the same thing. And I've got one person that just swears my name's Mack.
Oh.
Calls me Mack.
Hey.
That's not your name. It's a nickname. He's got you nicknamed.
No, that's cool.
So
just let it ride.
Right. I let it go.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I never correct him, and then everybody looks at him weird when he's talking to me, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'm just sitting here talking to Mack," and everybody's like, "Who?"
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
I never
let it ride.
But for me, I meet so many people, and then there's people that see or follow the social media or something like that, and I've never probably seen this person in person, but then they see me because I'm recognizable. There's not too many bearded dudes walking around on prosthetics on a day-to-day, and they'll come up and just out of the blue surprise me. And so there's some times where I'm like, do I know this? Do I even know this person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they know me, but I don't know them. How do they know me, or am I forgetting them? Because my memory's so bad, I can't even remember. And
dude, you've got the greatest excuse of all, though.
Well,
like,
and I use it.
My head's been rattled around by a couple IEDs.
Trust
Forgive me.
Right.
Oh, that is. I use that one regularly because I think that's kind of when it started. Like, I used to have a really good memory. I couldn't remember names really well, but I had a really good facial recognition. I could place you at the exact time, like place that we'd met. And now it's more like, and maybe it's just because the amount of people that I've met.
It could be
shot up quite
maybe
a bit.
You're getting old.
Yeah,
that could be it too. But it happened at the biggest one that I can remember was a few years ago. My buddy's mom passed away, and I attended her funeral, and my mom thought that I would know this person's name. And so she brought this person over to introduce her, and she goes, "You remember so-and-so?" And I'm like,
No, I don't.
Hit that cricket.
yeah,
cricket
I just
button.
said, I straight up, I just said, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And this is, so-and-so's kid, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Yeah.
still not ringing a bell.
And that's where it gets awkward. And so that's then the like, yeah, I wish I did, but man, I'll tell you, it's been a long time, hasn't it? What, help me. Or like the people that you don't know if you've ever actually met them. They just may know you from social media, and they're like, "Hey, Matt, like, tell me where we met again. Where were we when we first met?" And then they could be like, "Oh, I've never met you before. I've just followed you on social media. Oh, yeah. Hey, my name's Matt."
Yeah. Well, the like that type of stuff where I don't know the person. I don't really feel that bad.
Yeah.
It's like I can't place this person. I don't know. That one I don't mind playing off because I did this. I did that exact thing. I was like, I feel like I should, but I don't. I said, I've been hit in the head a few times. I was like, so I apologize, but remind me, and then it kind of started to come together. But even after all the details, I'm still like, I feel like that memory should be there, but I don't know if it was knocked out.
Yeah.
Of me, but it's kind of weird because those situations do turn a little bit awkward, especially when you've got, in the position now where I've got, donors that donate quite a bit of money, and it's like, I got to put a face to the name, and
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah. I typically, you go overexcited. If there's anybody there that's, like your wingman at this event, it would be, you got to find out what their name is. Like when that donor's walking up.
Oh, well, I have my people do that. I was looking for tips more for me so that I don't have to utilize that as much. But yeah. I mean, because I'll go up to somebody. I was like, "Hey, remind me who that is again."
Yeah.
That way I know, and I can approach the person and say hello instead of somebody coming up to me, initiate that contact. So you're in control of the situation. But yeah, some of those situations do get a little dicey.
If it's like a multiple group, and this is a genius one here, because a lot of times, like if you walk up, you're at one of these events, you're at a social hour for business owners in Wichita or whatever, and there's a few people standing there together, and you're like, I know most everybody here, but I don't remember that one person's name. Then you can go to somebody else that, you're just like, "Oh, hey, good to see you guys again. I don't know if you remember my name or not, but it's Troy." And you're like making an effort to take the burden off of them, even though they probably already remember know your name. But they're like, "Oh, that's awful nice. That's awful polite." Because if you could imagine, "Oh, I feel like I should know this donor's name," and the first thing they did when they walked up to you was, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm so-and-so." Well, you turn that table on them, and then they're obligated typically to share their name back, even though, and they feel better about it because they're like, "Oh, that guy's really looking out for me just in case I forgot his name."
Yeah. That's a good little tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all you people walking up to people, that should be your go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you remember me or not, but my name's Chet, or
that's a tip for everybody else.
It's been a few years.
That's a tip for everybody else.
Everybody that's around you. That's
Introduce yourself to me with your name to make sure that I remember.
Yeah, but if you do that to them, then they're going to turn around.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're like, this guy's overly polite because he's going out of his way to make me feel like I'm not an idiot because I forgot his name.
But then you got that one guy in the group that goes, "Oh, that's funny. We all know who you are, Troy."
And that's cool. You're just not going to, you're going to go to, "Hey, bud," and "Hey, man."
Exactly.
It's like, yeah.
It's all good, bro.
I do, buddy. "Hey, bud," something like that.
I do, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah.
When I'm caught off guard, man, it's like, "Oh, hey, man."
Yeah.
Hey, that's the first man.
That's a lot of people do that. That's why I try to go with a different name.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Oh, man." I use man when I don't know their name. I'm like, "Oh, I'm his buddy."
I've used boss before. What's up, boss?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
I like it. You don't have to like it.
I'm not going to adopt it.
I'm not a huge fan of that one.
Chief is a good one.
Chief.
Yeah.
See, the racial overtones there.
Whatever. I told you guys I thought my dad's first name was Chief, right? Because he's a chief master sergeant.
Yeah.
Everybody called him Chief.
Everybody called him that. Yeah.
So you're talking about your friend that called you Mac. I had a dude that I went to school with from, I don't know, 5th grade through graduating high school together. And like we were filling out some paperwork our senior year, one of these, you're passing around a sheet. Maybe that was for senior rings or something. I don't know. But he's like, dude, they misspelled your name. And I was like, no, they didn't. And he's like, your name's Chet? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I thought it was Check. And then everybody started making fun of him because I had 42 people in my graduating class. So there's no reason for that small group of people to go from, elementary school all the way through high school. And our senior year, he's like,
so 12 years,
dude, I thought
he called you Check.
Yeah. But if you think about it, Chet, Check.
You say it fast enough.
Yeah, it's not too noticeable
with a Louisiana drawl. That too.
But then that's when I was the sound guy. With one of the bands that I was with for a little while, it was me and a dude named Micah that were there, and the people on stage would be like, instead of Mike Check, they were like Micah Chet, because it sounded like Mike Check. Anyway, so yeah, that's man. Good. You just gotta, and sometimes if it's the right scenario, you could just go ahead and fall on your sword.
I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I feel bad about that one though, because it's like I should remember this person's name, but I'm just bad.
So when you fall on your sword, what's your apology?
Man, you're gonna have to forgive me. I am so horrible with names. Help me out here. Or I feel like we know each other, that we don't need to be formal. What's your nickname?
Nah, that gets awkward.
Mine is Kevin Costner, and then yeah.
So what's kind of funny to me is the overexcitement. I'll just tell you this up front. That one will get you into trouble because that is.
They think you're closer than you actually are.
Yes, and then they start pulling out details sometimes, and
Dude,
it's like
I like living on the edge, Matt. I'll
apparently
go there.
Apparently, but then you get those people, and then now they're going to start calling you because it's happened. Like I go over the top. And it's like, man, this guy really made me feel welcome. That was really a positive conversation that we had, and then boom, phone call, boom, phone call.
Then you get to learn their name because you answer the phone. Who is it?
My number one thing: text or email. Don't call me.
Yeah.
You can't win with this guy.
But no, I have gotten in trouble with the over the top a little bit.
Yeah, because your over the top is probably so far over the top.
No.
Your over the top is probably too over the top, and it's way fake because you're never over the top.
I've never seen Matt this emotional. We must have a bond that is
that he doesn't share with anyone else.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's probably what it is. I feel really special because he never does this with anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I'm over the top with you, you just know that I don't know you.
Do you remember when I introduced myself to you?
No.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Jeez. I'll tell you, it was classic.
Wasn't a memorable moment, I guess.
Not for him.
Something I'd like to forget.
It was in the airport. I was flying somewhere for work, the old terminal at Wichita. And
I thought you meant the first time.
That is the first time
that we met.
Yeah.
I need to be in charge of the board because we could have hit the crickets button like 5 times.
I'm getting.
Nope.
That's what it was. It was magical for you. And you can't remember it. I'm telling you. Yeah. But you were actually in your chair. This is 2014. And there was only there was something like, oh, you got to meet this guy, Matt. He'd lost his legs. da 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 da, whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'm going out of town. Oh, he's going out of town too, anyway. And then boom, we're in the same gate. And I look over and there's this, grumpy looking dude with no legs. And I'm like, well, that must be the guy. Like, I don't know how many.
Supposed to meet this guy.
Yeah. So I go over there and I kneel down beside you and I'm like, hey man, my name's Chet. I was told I was going to meet you here soon anyway, but I thought I'd introduce myself to you. And then you were like, man, this is probably going to be a life-changing moment for me. I got a good feeling about this.
Right. I don't.
And then the next time he saw you, Chet, he was like, yeah, what's your name again?
Yeah. He's like, I don't even remember meeting this guy in the airport.
Oh, he was overexcited the next time he saw you because he couldn't remember your name.
Oh, hey, man, I've heard so much about you. It's good to finally meet you.
Yeah. Hey, bud.
Hey.
Hey, pal. How are you? Anyway, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
That's good stuff, man. I hope you have good luck with the tips we gave you.
I'm going to utilize some of them. Just play. See how they work out. I should probably video some of this.
Oh,
yes.
I think you should. And we'll share it on YouTube. You should definitely do that.
I'll see. I get one of the little cameras.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, come back with our top 3. Are you driving traffic to your website? Do you have an engaging homepage? Better yet, does your homepage have a video? We recently created a video for a client about his business and the services they provide. Since he placed the video on the homepage of their website, he has had a number of clients specifically say they decided to use his services because of that video. At Trussell Media, we help businesses create engaging videos to host on their websites, email to clients, and use in their social media marketing. Contact us if you're interested in creating a video for your homepage today. TrussellMedia.com. Fill out the form at TrussellMedia.com/contact. Let us help you tell your story through video. All right, we're back. Top 3 musicians you cannot stand. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Do it.
So I've never heard of this musician before. Never heard of her. But I was in the car, a few weeks ago. My youngest is a huge fan of Christmas music. So there's like a station in town that just plays Christmas music from Thanksgiving to. So rather than, I typically have my own music that I want to listen to. Christmas, even if it's Christmas music, I don't like the mainstream stuff.
Right.
My goal every year is to not hear Mariah Carey sing about what she wants for Christmas. However, she got in the truck and when she's like, oh, could turn into such station. All right, we can listen to whatever. And this is what I heard, and I'll just let you guys hear it. That's all it took. If you can't say the word Christmas, I will never enjoy this person ever. Like, this person's musical career is dead to me.
How did she even do that?
I don't know.
Auto-tune?
No, I don't. The
auto-tune.
Because she did later. Kind of said it fine, right?
That's ridiculous.
But when she says it, the nope. I'm telling you.
Quiz. It sounds like
moist. She's trying to say moist in the word.
Yes.
She's saying Chris Moist without the T. And I'm telling you, people.
What's her name?
That's got to stop. Let's see. Camilla. Cabello. I don't know. But she needs to not be on the radio anymore. Ever. And I literally... that song, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Sabrina. I'm turning this off, and you should never, ever listen to this song that she sings ever again. Like, it's over. Don't ever listen to this.
I love it. That's good.
So that's number 3.
Yeah, I hope they get better. This is great.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it got to that part, and I'm like, nah. We're gonna turn the radio off for a little while. We can't risk changing the station and this coming back up. Number 2, Harry Styles. I don't listen to anything that he has to say. I can't even name a song. But the dude wears dresses and skirts now, And I'm just like, I'm done with this kind of indoctrination that's going on. And so another musician that's dead to me, and I don't listen to any stations that he would come on, I'm guessing. But if I see anything Harry Styles, I'm like, nope, not a fan.
What genre is he?
Pop.
Okay. English singer-songwriter. Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know anything he does.
Do images. Do images under Google search right there.
Oh, yeah. What a weirdo.
Yeah, there you go, man. We don't need that. We don't need that in our
cover
world
of
today.
Vogue. Yeah. Okay. His musical career began in 2010. Yeah. I quit listening to music after 2004. So
Just killed it. That's
yeah,
it.
no more new music for me. Only 90s grunge. There we go.
Number 1, Elvis. Can't stand him.
Almost made my list.
Can't.
All right.
I can't listen to any of his music. I'm sorry, our older generations that are listening right now.
If we have any Elvis fans, I do apologize.
Not everybody listens to good music. I'm sorry,
It's true. It's very
And
true.
If you want to get a good take on Elvis, you need to listen to. There was an interview that for Ray Charles. They were interviewing Ray Charles, and it was like Diane Sawyer, or, Barbara Walters, or something.
Bawa Wawas?
Yeah, and she was like,
He's trying to do that thing with his voice.
Anyway, she said,
Sing it.
what about his impact on rock and roll or whatever? And dude, Ray Charles goes off on how lame Elvis. Yeah, it was. And then she was like, "Well, that could be taken in a way that he wasn't that talented." And he's like, "Yeah, it's exactly what you should have taken it, because he's a no talent hack." Like, went off on him, which I thought was pretty cool.
I like that.
Ray Charles and I see eye to eye. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
All right, I'll go next. Number 3, Casting Crowns.
Whole band.
Yeah, just their music. Look, they have a great message. They're believers. From what I can tell, their message is pretty good, pretty spot on. But they're just something about their music. It just
So you don't listen to K-Love, because every other song they play is Casting Crowns.
Yes, I do not listen to Caleb.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah, every once in a while it'll come up in my Apple Music shuffle if I'm just shuffling music and it picks stuff that I'll listen to and like. One of their songs will come on. I'll just have to give it a thumbs down. I just can't.
Don't want it to come back.
Don't want it to come back. Number 2, The Beach Boys.
I disagree with you there, but
I cannot stand the Beach Boys. Just something about them. Don't like it. Comes on, I got to change the channel.
You just don't like uplifting, happy music about
It all
good
sounds the
American
same.
stuff.
It all sounds the same.
People say that about Nirvana.
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm entitled to my own opinion, Chet.
You go ahead. Go ahead, man.
you are entitled.
Check. And number 1, Elvis.
Hey, there we go.
Can't stand him. Never liked him. I agree with Ray Charles. Like, where's the talent? He's just a pretty boy that shook his hips and got famous.
That didn't do anything for you, did it?
No,
Shaking the hips.
not at all.
Or it did too much and you just had to stay away.
Not at all.
Avoid the temptation.
It did not move.
That's a Seinfeld
Yeah, you
reference.
like that, huh? Got Chet with the old Seinfeld reference.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get the whole craze around Elvis and the whole Graceland, and I don't know. It's crazy. Crazy to me. I don't get it.
I think people bought into it at the time because it was new to them.
Yeah.
And he was, I think I saw an interview on that. He was the first
White person to sing
but
music that was from the
televised,
African American community.
but televised.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that popularity came from. Was because it was new, it was shocking, and everybody was like, "Oh, one of those things."
Yeah.
Not that there's stuff like that today. People jump on bandwagons. It's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Why? But I get it. He almost made my list, so I get that one.
All right, what you got, Matt?
Number 3, U2.
Oh,
Can't stand them.
really?
I like U2. Okay, I like their old stuff. Their new stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The
No
2004 rule applies.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's where it started for me. Was when Apple forced me to have it in my music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was all they're doing. It was all U2's doing, from what articles
Right.
I read.
I thought, hey, they're gonna give this free album, whatever, to all the new iPhones and whatever, and
It was not a good album. I listened to it.
no, it sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was free. It was worthy of being free.
Yeah, and I keep telling myself I need to delete it because every time one of their song comes on, boop,
Yeah.
skip.
Yep.
So, number 2, Cher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same kind of thing. I don't get what the appeal of any of her stuff is. I don't get it. I don't know.
So you don't believe in life after love?
You don't wish you could turn back time?
Turn back time.
Yeah, put some auto tune on that.
Will and Grace. Remember that scene?
And then number 1, and this is just a character judgment. Madonna.
Oh yeah. Good grief.
Can't stand it.
I didn't even know she's not even on my radar enough to dislike her.
She wasn't on my
anymore.
radar either. But yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah, it's nothing that like comes up when I listen because I'm like you. I've got my Apple Music and I've got it programmed to only play stuff I like.
Right.
It doesn't throw much new stuff in there very often.
Yeah.
But I could go with what's that guy that got lost on his own 30 acres? Is that Kane Brown?
Yeah.
Can't stand him. I could go into honorable mentions on these country stars that aren't really country that I hate their music, but
Yeah. I got an honorable mention hot take here. The Beatles. Not a fan.
I thought about them for my list, but there are some.
They're early, like their first two, 3 albums, but then it just got commercialized. Yellow Submarine, like really,
Yeah.
like this.
Some
is
of
not,
some of their first stuff that they did, and then some of their stuff like after they came through commercialism, were like, okay, we need to go back doing our own stuff again.
well,
They had a few good songs after that, and then
overrated.
yeah,
That's all
I
they
think
do.
they're
And I
completely overrated. Yeah.
well, but again, that's the initial like boy.
Another Christmas song that I can't stand though is the Beatles. The Having a Wonderful Christmas Time. Shh, turn it. I can't. I'm not listening. It gets me out of the Christmas spirit. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, they almost made my list, but there's some stuff I like.
Honorable mention.
Yeah. All right. That was a good that was a fun top 3. You got a good word for us, Chet?
I do. Be alert. This is kind of going back a little off of last week, Matt's good word on engaged. And the actual passage of Scripture, 1 Corinthians, and this is at the last chapter 16 of 1 Corinthians, and Paul's going through, hey, these are the last little notes I need to give the church in Corinth, and going through and giving some specific commands or specific things to specific people. And in the middle of that, in verse 13, he says, be alert, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, do everything in love. And then he goes on to talk about some of the household there and Stephanus and Fortunatus and a couple other people. But he kind of stops in the middle of this, my salutation and say, hey, look, pay attention. Like, be alert, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. Some translations, act like a man. Whether the courageous and strong part, like that's one way you could say be a man.
Man up.
And do everything in love. So if you think about, And that's 13 and 14. The verse 14 is do everything in love. And that is standing firm in the faith, being courageous, being strong. It doesn't mean be a butthole about it. You do it out of love. But if you think about, I look at it just as a parent right now, all the stuff that's going on with our family, the community, the schools, the local stuff, not just the national stuff. I'm talking about the local stuff. We can't stick our head in the sand. We have to be on alert, be on watch. Be firm in our faith. Don't be wishy-washy. Be courageous, be strong. Do things that, cowards won't do. Don't be quiet when you should be speaking up. Don't disengage when you should be engaged. So that comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13 and 14. Be alert.
I like that. And then God told Joshua to be strong and courageous. Wasn't that back in after Moses died and Joshua was leading the people in the promised land? He's telling them to be strong and courageous because you're going into new territory, and they were afraid.
Right.
And that was God's response. Just be strong and courageous, trust in me. And that's kind of what reminded me of.
Yeah, the more you dig into Scripture, the less comfortable it is if you're a follower, because it's not easy.
No.
A lot of do not be afraids, and a lot of be strong, be courageous, be alert. Don't just you're not just flowing through life here. You need to be active and engaged and doing things in love.
Yeah, and I also feel like a lot of stuff that the way our culture and society is going, it is new territory for our generation.
So maybe. I mean, the way that it's going on. Let's look at
some of the stuff. I wouldn't say across the board. No.
Look at pedophilia. That's been around forever, right? It's not new,
right?
Being on the internet, yeah, that's new, right? But it's not the evil that was there thousands of years ago is still the evil that's here today,
right?
I think one of the things, socially, if you want to think about social media and cancel culture and all that, speaking up about it has consequences socially that were not near the consequences back then of going against the flow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's the way that people get browbeat today for standing up is very, I don't know. It's just easy to be quiet. Let it all happen around you. And that's not what Scripture tells us to do, in my opinion, based on what I read.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.